The Ontario Provincial Well Records database can be a really useful tool to determine what kind of water you're likely to find if you're buying a property in rural Prince Edward County. There are, however, some tricks and gotchas which I'll share with you in this brief video. To get there, use Google or any other search engine and type in Ontario Well Records Map. And this is what you'll get, something like this, and then click through. And here we are with the Well Records database. Up at the top, there's a text block, and then down below, Google Maps, basically, if you're familiar with Google Maps. There are two ways that you can find the information about a well. If a well is already drilled, every single well has to be drilled by a licensed technician who attaches a tag, a metal tag, to the well for identification, and the technician then files a report on the well's properties. So if you have access to the well itself, you can take down the well tag number and then enter it here, and that will take you directly to the record for your well. Alternatively, most of us don't have a specific well tag in mind. Maybe it's a property that doesn't have a well yet, or we want to investigate a general area. So fortunately, the Google Maps can be used to do exactly that. Let's enter an address. There we are. It's a local address. And in all honesty, it's a property that I own, so we're not invading anybody else's privacy. So here now, we typed in an address, and Google Maps comes up. Wherever you see a blue dot, it is the approximate location for a registered well. Now, if you want to drill down and look at the information for each well, here's one of the tricks. There's a little button up here, kind of a bullseye. Click on it until it turns yellow. Click at the center of the area that you want to. There we are. Oops. So click on the center of the area that you want to investigate. And then when you've got the circle large enough, click again. Incidentally, as you can see, sometimes it takes a little time to respond. So wherever you see these push pins, there is a well record available. So let's take a look at this one first, maybe. In fact, we had 2 wells drilled on our property. So this window will come up with some of the information on the well, when it was completed, and the contractor and the well depth. But that's not really what you want. What you want is the well record information. It's easiest if you drill down under HTML, and now here's what you get. So there's the legal description for the property, and then incidentally, if you want to know what kind of soil you've got, here's the record: brown loam for 2 feet, brown shale from 2 feet to 3 feet, and gray limestone down to 50 feet. So this property that we bought has 2 feet of soil on it, but we knew that. Let's go down to the section called Results of Well Yield Testing. There's nothing in this one. What could that mean? It means that they drilled the well down to 50 feet and it got no water. So if you come up empty, in the figurative sense, it also means it came up empty in the literal sense. Now, here's another one of the tricks. If you want to go back, most of us would use the back button on our browser, but that will take you right back to the very beginning. If you want to go back to the map that you just searched, click on the specific link, and that will take you back here. Now, let's look at a couple of other wells. Let's look at this one. And again, it brings up the kind of the overall record. And now let's click on HTML, and we'll go down, down, down. This has 1 foot of brown loam on top of shale. Well, even less soil, but isn't that typical in many areas of the county? Now we've got a different result of the well yield testing. So what's of interest, just out of passing interest, you'll see a pumping rate. That's how fast the technician pumped water out. And the duration of pumping is, so they pumped 585 liters a minute for 35 minutes. And when they were done, the water was at 6.3 meters. That's all sort of scientific interest. What you're really interested in is this one here, the recommended pump rate. That's what the pump on your home will be set to, and that's the well driller's estimate of the capacity of the well. Well, for those of us who aren't into metric, 59 liters per minute, if you do use an online converter, turns out to be 13 gallons a minute, imperial gallons a minute, which by county standards is pretty good. Let's go back to the map, and I want to point out one more thing. We'll take the go back to the map link, and now here we are back at the map again. The first thing I want to point out is a limitation. The locations that are shown in the well records database are approximate, not exact. So in this case, for example, both of these wells that I'm highlighting now were located about here on our property on the same side of the road. But on Google Maps, they're a bit spread out. The second qualifier or warning I want to give is because of the county's geology, it means that you can have a dry well one place and a very productive well nearby. And in fact, that's exactly what we saw. Our first well came up dry, and our next one, a shallower well, as it turns out, came up with 13 gallons a minute. So you have to bear that in mind. Just because a neighbor has a really good well doesn't automatically guarantee you that you're going to have a good well, although it's a good sign. And a final thing that you can use for this well records map, if you're considering a general area, then draw a circle around the area and look at all of the wells in the general area to see if overall it's a more or less promising for the water to be found there. I hope that gives you enough information to use the map productively, and please contact me if you have any further questions. Thanks.